All praise be to Yahweh, Bashim El Shai, Bashim Kakodash, the honors to the apostles and elder bishops over the great millstone church, and salutations to the rest of the whole like elders, and Akim also of these same branches. In this video, I just want to cover the Munich Security Conference that was held for 2026. All right, and that's actually going on at the time of making this lesson. And I just pretty much want to bring out some info, just give some info on obviously the things that were said in it that were covered, and obviously that is of importance. And just simply, I could pretty much hold off on saying that, so I will. But let's just get into first and foremost, since I say that, what the Munich Security Conference is. For those that don't know, it says the Munich Security Conference, or the MSC, is a major annual international forum for debating global security policy, bringing together hundreds of senior decision makers, including heads of states, ministers, and leaders from international organizations, business, and civil society. Held every February in Munich, Germany. It serves as a platform for high-level discussions on current and future security challenges, with a focus on transatlantic relations, regional conflicts, and emerging threats like technologies impact on security. Okay, and it says, in addition to the main conference, the MSC organizes smaller focus events and publishes the annual Munich Security Report. All right. So the participants usually be heads of states, governors, government ministers, military leaders, and representatives from international organizations, as you see, like the UN, NATO, and the EU. So this is the beast coming together. All right. Aspects, components of the beast. All right. Coming together. All right. Transforming like Megatron. For those that know about the Transformers, how they come together and whatnot. But nonetheless, it says business, media, academia, and NGOs. So, and it says topics, debates cover a wide range of issues, including European security, the future of transatlantic alliance, geopolitical conflicts, and the security implications of new technologies. So pretty much talking about what they want to do, what is it going to take for what they want to do. All right. All on board for that, what needs to be done, what's going to limit that, so forth and so on. So in the likes of technology they want to bring forth. All right. Understanding where they're at. All right. Where the temperature is at when it comes to these technologies they want to bring forth that people could feel a certain way about. Things like that. The wars that's going on, the masses of people, all right, demographics of people, certain demographics of people. This is what they talk about. So again, this is another major gathering of representatives of the beast. So just simply it's the beast coming together and holding these talks. All right, so this video is just going to be pretty much covering and confirming the things that the men of the Lord, all right, or that the Lord has said, the Heavenly Father, the Most High, all right, has said and been saying through his men, all right, when it comes to things like the New World Order, all right, in which was, again, like at Davos 2026, something that has been confessed as being a true thing. And the old world order, all right, the way things are currently going or used to go, that used to rock people to sleep and be the way to where they can keep this Edomite, so-called white supremacy going, this heathen reign on the earth going, all right, in order for the international bankers to keep their grips on the earth. They saying, okay, that's no longer going to be able to be the way anymore. All right. And that's what, like at the Davos 2026 conference, all right, was talked about and confessed, all right, and plotted on. So without any further ado, I'm going to say fair use, fair use, fair use. Because I'm going to hit play on this video, which is pretty much going to be a segment from a particular discussion that has been held, all right, which they were obviously, again, confessing and admitting to the New World Order, as you see, under reconstruction, a world order for the next generation panel discussion, in which I'm going to just summarize it. Basically, because it's a panel of women, and you're going to see when I hit play on this video, this dude, he starts off, you know, it's a lot of gestures going on in the crowd, but nonetheless, it's a panel of women, all right, who are on different councils and things like that or whatever. And they're bringing their pretty much overview of the New World Order and how it must be and how they can get it done. And she basically goes on to say, obviously, everything that's going on, as you're going to hear, but simply what the New World Order obviously will look like then. All right. And in a nutshell, it just reminds me of a quote that was said back at the WEF, all right, the World Economic Forum back in 2016. It says, quote unquote, you will own nothing and be happy. That's what the New World Order, in her words, and what she goes on to explain is going to be, all right. And it says, is a phrase derived from a 2016 World Economic Forum WEF prediction by Danish politician Ida Aku or Aken regarding a future sharing economy. All right. It says it envisions a world where goods are accessed via services rather than owned, reflecting trends towards sustainability and subscription-based consumption. And that's what happened. So if she goes on and basically says something that's reminiscent of this, that means obviously it happened. This is exactly what the New World Order is going to look like. All right. And you should use this to your advantage. And again, let the things that the prophets have been speaking unto you, start with those of the Great Millstone Church, the men of the Lord will be true now and be confirmed. All right. Because you, after hearing this, you should be completely prepared and not thrown off surprised by what's about to unfold and be pretty much sped towards. All right. And that's this New World Order. So without any further ado, as I said, fair use. Let's get it. Under reconstruction, a world order for the next generation. Main stage one.
Young and Hannah Leabakwa. It seems the next 43 minutes and 36. Perfect. So what we're going to do in this session, in the next 43 minutes and 36 seconds, is to talk about the future of the world order. That should be easy enough. You've probably all read the brief, I guess. Morning was all dedicated to Europe and what Europe can do to counter the wrecking ball policies and politics that we see across the world. Now we're moving far beyond Europe, not only in regional scope, but on a meta level. We're turning to the next generation. Yasmin, let me...
And the reason that's relevant to even let that play is because Europe runs the earth, because the international banking families are based in Europe. Who runs the earth? All right. So though he's saying, so basically he's saying everyone's subject to Europe, but so you don't get it misconstrued, we're going beyond Europe. Like this is still a global message and concerns everyone. All right.
Start with you. You are the youngest currently serving female member of the House. And how can we get better at making sure that young people keep faith in democracy's ability to run things and rebuild this order?
That's my story, but I think about this issue a lot, about young people. And I think young people in the United States already care deeply about foreign policy, but it's a matter of how foreign policy affects their lives on a day-to-day. Foreign policy looks like the impacts of the climate crisis. It looks like student debt.
And that's basically another word for New World Order. All right, which I can do a lesson on that. So I won't go into that specifically. But in other words, New World Order. All right, the thing all countries is going to be under. The rules all countries are going to subject themselves to. All right, hence the New World Order. What the elites want.
Like artificial intelligence taking jobs away and risking the future of work, the impacts of the climate.
So she's telling you what the New World Order looks like. All right.
But I think about this issue a lot, about young people. And I think young people in the United States already care deeply about foreign policy, but it's a matter of how foreign policy affects their lives on a day-to-day. Foreign policy looks like the impacts of the climate crisis. It looks like student debt. It looks like artificial intelligence taking jobs away and risking the future of work. It looks like endless wars and, their siblings or their parents or potentially them, having been impacted by those wars. And what we've seen in the United States over both political parties over the course of the last, several decades is not enough has been done to provide transformational change for young people. And so currently in the United States, first of all, the idea of buying a house is all but impossible. I'm almost 34 years old, and most people my age don't own homes.
I'm also almost 35 years old.
And housing is just entirely too expensive. Childcare is impossible. People are going to school but having a harder and harder time finding jobs. They're impacted by the climate crisis and artificial intelligence. And then they are questioning their leadership, and somebody like a Donald Trump in this moment was able to really capitalize on those hardships, capitalize on income inequality, and offer something different. And I think that now what we've seen from that has been the most corrupt and authoritarian administration in United States history. We have seen, more young people. There was a worry that young people were moving towards the right in the United States, and recent, polling and data shows that is not the case. And they have quickly, even the gains that Donald Trump and Republicans made have quickly gone in the other direction, because they have seen that this is an administration that is only focused on enriching the president and enriching their family. But it's about where we go from here. And I think for for me and for my party, of course, the Democratic Party, I think we need to offer bold, big changes for the future, not incremental change, but transformational change. We need to have policies that will make housing more affordable, that will make childcare more affordable, that'll really re-engage us on climate policy worldwide. And I think it's not, there's been some talk about it this weekend, but one of our largest domestic challenges and why it's so difficult to make progress on policy in the United States is the role of big money in our political system. And right now you have the artificial intelligence companies with the biggest super PAC prepared for the 2026 election, so that anybody who dares to talk about AI regulation is immediately facing millions of dollars against them in a campaign. And that is driving a lot of the, I would say, skepticism of young people as well in the political system. So
there it is, man. All right, that's the New World Order. She told you what it looked like. She told you what foreign policy looks like. All right. So that's what the New World Order looks like. It looks like people not being able to, basically going into the New World Order because she gave what foreign policy looks like, which is saying what the New World Order is going to look like. It's going to look like a bunch of people who can't afford houses. All right, that's long gone. People can't afford childcare. School is not a thing anymore, and it's a corrupt government that doesn't even care about the people. That's everything she said. All right. And it's an administration that's in office proving that, because it only cares about itself. It has nothing to do with the people. That's what the foreign policy, hence the New World Order, because that's actually the topic, it concerns. What it's going to look like going into it. And how do we know this? Because she went on to she's going to go on to give the resolution, as she's kind of already started to. And in this resolution, she's basically saying, right, well, she's giving a reason why, with things looking like this, why the youth, the younger people are in skepticism. Like they're trying to figure out a way. Like she's basically like a snitch almost. You see what I'm saying? But she's a pawn. You know, she don't know what's going on. She's subjected to it herself. But nonetheless, she's giving the lowdown on answering what this New World Order, how can we get it going and get people to trust it, specifically young people. What is it going to look like? And she starts off again talking about pretty much the state of young people, the state of the world. All right, and the things that's just outright facts. So going into the New World Order, expected to be you being broke, you not owning nothing. And as you gonna hear, like I said, when she get a resolution, basically you being happy about it. All right. And we know it's gonna be a New World Order that's gonna consist of basically being designed around what the youth is as of today. And what's the youth today? They're a bunch of digitalized mentally and spiritually people, man. All right. Quick convenience, own nothing. You know, nothing's physical anymore. See? And I just hit play.
I'm seeing more and more young people who have never even thought about politics come forward, want to volunteer, want to get involved. And I think they are going to make a massive difference in this election, but we can't think of them as just a demographic in an election. Policies need to be designed to deliver for young people in a big way like they never have before.
And she says you're going to need foreign policy. She keeps saying foreign policy. That's the New World Order. That's another code word for that. That needs to be designed for young people in a way that best delivers. So again, she's saying what is it going to take, after saying what does it look like going into the New World Order, but what is it going to take for it to work? And she's saying, okay, well, it needs to be youth heavy, youth driven, like so forth and so on. But it needs to basically bring forth foreign policy that best suits the youth. And what does the youth look like today? In a way that best suits and delivers for them. All right, that's fast convenience, that's digital, that's all of these different things. See? So you just got the overview of what the New World Order is gonna look like. And what is it gonna be about? All right, you owning nothing and being basically happy because they're gonna create the world to where it's as normal. They're gonna try to do that. All right, and you not having no control. AI run everything. You see? As he said, those that pretty much try to speak about AI regulation have a bunch of companies who have pretty much created a monopoly on, in a lot of areas, if you will, of life and operating. You're going to have these people come against you if you try to like be someone. This is obviously not people that's just working at regular jobs. This is talking about people that's trying to be like on the global front of things, right? On the global front lines or on the front lines of society. All right. The front lines of these different industries, these different workforces. Those that want to speak up, because why? AI is coming in and it's taking over. Everything's digital, you know, to where people losing their jobs. So she's completely laying out what the New World Order looks like, man. Now I'm gonna hit play on this last point. The other women went. I haven't watched that, but I pretty much I sat through everything that she was initially asked. Okay, so I'm gonna hit play on this, and then I'm gonna get a couple scriptures. I'm gonna close this out. Like I said, this was just for info. Basically, he's just gonna ask her, like, are you saying this is what you believe is gonna take to get the New World Order going? And he basically like, it don't really make sense because it sounds like you're just talking about America. But my point, because obviously I could just play the video, but my point saying this first is because she goes on and basically says yes, like to what he basically says. It sounds like you're saying, but what she makes clear is she learned from Donald Trump, like, even though she hates Donald Trump, obviously just spoke against him, all right? Showing you everything in the scriptures playing out. This place really divided, right? But nonetheless, and the end is obviously near, right? She goes on and says, like Donald Trump, he made sense because with his like Operation Warp Speed, she learned through him. It's not about like how they're just running and rushing in, doing things. It don't matter if it's messy or quick or not. They just getting somewhere. They getting to what they trying to get to. That's what she says she believed is going to be the way. Like, it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be rushed. It's going to be messy. So that tells you right there, they're not going to be able to, like, this New World Order you thinking of is not going to be this perfectly digitalized world that's going to come where everything is perfectly robotic. It's not going to be like the movies. It's going to be real messy, real sloppy, but it's going to be completely, you know, to a degree about at the least being digital. All right. There will be no more like buying or selling with FRNs and things like that, but it's not going to be, they're not going to get this thing really rolling like perfectly. They're going to just come in messy and just not care. It's just going to come out of nowhere. It's going to be real like scum-like. But anyway.
I hear it over and over again. We need to fix sort of concrete problems immediately. Talk me through the sequence of, you know, fixing things like housing and the world order. You know, is it let's fix things at home first and then later on when people are excited about the power of politics to deliver, we can then take care of the world order?
I don't think so. And, you know, one thing that I will say, this might be the only thing that I would admit that I have learned from Donald Trump is this lack of hesitancy to do a lot of things at once and not even think about the consequences. And that is manifested in terrible ways. But where I'm trying to get to is that I think my party has had an issue where we just want to do everything perfectly with all of the data and all of the backing and all of the buy-in and all of the, the debates for years on the nuances. And we don't need to do that. Like when I picture the next administration and a Democratic president, I think we need to immediately enact a wealth tax and make sure that we are able to pay. And we can do all of that while at the same time recreating the new version of USAID and re-engaging diplomatically on the world stage by rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Agreement and the World Health Organization and all of the many, entities internationally that we've disengaged from and create those.
So that's it. That's basically it on that. But you heard her say it like, nah, we could just get, it could be sloppy. It's cool. Like, it ain't gonna be, it don't gotta be perfect. We just gotta just go ahead and get rolling. But nonetheless, we need to make sure she's still stuck and hung up on, like if I had it my way, people would be able to afford healthcare and afford this and afford. So again, because all of these are answers or responses to the topic of basically the New World Order, all right, and establishing it and getting people to buy into it. So it's all there, man. And the key thing she said that I want to point out before I ended in these scriptures, transformational change. She said we don't need incremental change, right, which increments in small portions, like little things at a time. She said we need more transformational change, like before she was asked that, obviously, which it says transformational change is a radical shift in an organization's operations, all right, how this world works, how America as a company or as a society, works, as a country works, how the earth, the society of the earth, if you will, as a whole, right, works. It needs to be a radical shift, she said, not incremental. It needs to be a transformational change, meaning a radical shift in the organization's operations, right? That includes businesses within these countries, right? Across the whole globe, so forth and so on. It says including a complete overhaul of existing systems. That's the current world order, AKA what they've been calling, and confessing to now be the world order, and the they being the international banking families, Esau, Edom, all right, through their puppets, all right? But it says involving a complete overhaul of existing systems, processes, or structures. It's about reinvention, radical innovation, and departing from the status quo, all right? It says goals. I'm going to jump down to impact. It demands new ways of thinking. See, that's the beast. That's making an image to the beast. Like, this is here, man. This is what the Lord been telling you. So this is all info and proof for you to completely be ready in that time. All right, no one should be caught off guard. No one's going to be able to be caught off guard because though they're saying they want to bring transformational change and, the devil coming down, having great wrath, Operation Warp Speed, things like that. The Lord is still having this thing like go, step by step for people, man. All right. Laid out to where you see it. You can't get caught off guard necessarily. Unless you're an idiot, not paying attention. All right. Caught up in this world, thinking like a lot of people are going to get caught off guard. But anyway, it says it demands new ways of thinking, acting, and operating at all levels of the organization. So you're not going to be able to be the so-called American you was in 1990 and that, in the early 2000s when you was in high school, when you used to, goddamn pay for something for $1 or something, a bus or some chips or something like that, or use a payphone on the street. You don't even see those no more. So it's about to be a wrap, bro. All right. How you will buy things, how you carry your money, how you pay. It just, everything, all these, it says at all levels. This is what transformational change goes into. And if you think that I'm reaching, all right, examples. It says implementing significant strategic and cultural reforms. See, implementing. This is what transformational change is. This is what she meant. Implementing significant strategic and cultural reforms. All right. This is America like trying to be as the Phoenix. All right. Look that up if you don't know what that is. They're trying to come out of the ashes and be reborn. All right. The New World Order. This is Esau, Edom trying to restart, man. This is Esau, Edom being as he has been declared to always be. Thus saith the Lord. Which is what? The Lord throwing down, but Edom returning saying we will rebuild, restart. All right. New World Order. So implementing significant strategic and cultural reforms, embracing, for those that think I'm reaching, embracing new technology. Embracing new technology or making substantial operational adjustments. So this proves that we are in the New World Order because he said going into the New World Order, people going to own nothing. People don't got nothing. People aren't owning anything. All right, they're subjected to, and it ain't completely got that to that point yet, but AI. See? So we basically in it already, right? All right, and they're going to play off the youth. And the youth today are a bunch of digitized people, man, from the, millennials to the goddamn Gen Z to dang the last generation they saying that's supposed to be the last generation ever, which is Generation Alpha. All right, which that's spiritual. And that's basically it. So this was, like I said, it's just some info to confirm you on these things. And that's pretty much the point, to make it plain that he may run that read it, man, and prepare you. Habakkuk 2. So I just want to read this, Job 5, and I want to start at verse, let's go to start at 3 first. It says, what? I have seen the foolish taking root. And it says, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. All right. I have seen the foolish taking root. Yeah. But suddenly I cursed his habitation. So we see these people trying to go ahead and get established, these wicked people, these silly Edomites, and we're against it because he's trying to establish wickedness, establish himself who is wicked, who is the wicked. All right. And we don't want that, man. All right. They're trying to take root. They are taking root. They're already laying down the infrastructure, so forth and so on, man. All right. And they're foolish because the Lord is not going to allow this to happen. All right. They telling on themselves and they don't even understand it. His children are far from safety. His children are far from safety and they are crushed in the gate. All right. And the gate dealing with men on the front lines. All right. It says, neither is there any to deliver them. Y'all already been numbered. Esau, Edom, your days is over with. But nonetheless, we got to go through this process of him, hence Esau, Edom, trying to what? Return and build the desolate places, as the scripture said he would do. So before I continue on, let's just get that real quick, since I didn't really read any scriptures. This is Malachi chapter 1 and 4, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return. See? Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return. All right? Return meaning start over. Let's get this word return real quick. Re being a prefix meaning again. Okay? So when you go into the Strong's definition, it says not necessarily with the idea of return to the starting point, right? Because they don't want to go back to exactly how they was. They want to, right, in a complete sense. In certain aspects, they do, right? They want to return back to the complete point of when they were completely in control and had you, in shackle slavery, specifically you Israelites. All right. and no one can see through they witchcraft and things like that. But they don't want to go back to when they was first establishing that. So that's why this says this. Okay, and that's what makes it clear to be talking about the new world order. Because they don't want to return back to how things was. They want the same power that they had when the way things currently are allowed them to like have it like that, but it's not allowing it anymore. So why would they return back to that anymore? All right, they want the same positioning, but with new technique, new strategy. Okay, so we got to go through this time. All right, despite these people having a time that's been appointed to them, where they're gonna rule, but then eventually go down, which is what makes them foolish, and it ultimately gonna go down for this wicked crap they're doing. But that's what makes them foolish. But nonetheless, we have to endure pretty much their time and what they own. And that's what this new world order is. So it says, whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. So the people that's constantly trying to return, new world order, all these people, this is the wicked. They're the border of wickedness. And then when you think about border deals with pretty much expanse and territory. All right, so this is Job 5, and I'm going to start at 10. This is in the G&T. He sends rain on the land. He waters the fields. All right, so the Lord sends out this doctrine, man. All right, he sends out his spirit to where we're standing is heat. We're not able to be gotten when he brings these little tricks and schemes of his, because we know exactly what it is. We already know it's a setup. We know it's the new world order. We know the mark that he's gonna have mandated, hence that new technology he's gonna bring. All right, is the RFID chip, by which he's gonna say you can only buy something or sell something. We know it's the mark of the beast. All right, because the Lord has sent out this water, man, upon us, upon the earth. All right, read on. It says, yeah, it is God who raises the humble, right? To have the Most High who raises the humble and gives joy to all who mourn. Yeah, to where we completely, on a level acknowledging things that are going on a global affair, not things just on your block. You see what I'm saying? Not things that's just, you goddamn your Xbox or something like that. You see? To where we're a force to be reckoned with on a global stage, which is why they come together on the global stage and have these conferences. They're not going to announce and say, publicly. You're not going to see the elite bankers at these global conferences. All right. But you could bet, right, they're talking about any and everybody, right? Obviously, especially the people who are also a threat to them that could stop them. That don't want to get down with them. All right. And that's us. So the Lord has raised us. Okay. He upsets the plans of cunning people and traps the wise in their own schemes so that nothing they do succeeds. All right. He upsets the plan of cunning people and traps the wise in their own schemes. Yeah. So that nothing they do succeeds. So there it is. Because you're sitting there thinking you talking in code, thinking you done put everybody to sleep, not realizing the very people you need sleep aren't sleep anymore. All right. And you're exposing yourself. You know, the very people you need sleep and won't sleep to where you could take them out aren't sleep. All right. Because though we haven't raised probably on the financial level to where they at, to where we're physically there, we've been raised in the spirit, man. So we hear and see you devils. And you're not gonna be able to get us now because we hear about the plans and schemes. So that's what all this was about. All right. So now I'm gonna read on the 15. Even at noon, they grope in darkness. But God, the Most High, Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah, saves the poor from death. He saves the needy from oppression. See, and this is how. All right. And these heathen, if you just listen to them, these Edomites, they help you do it because they tell them they so. When you read on to that same verse 14 in the GNT in the KJV, it says, I'm going to start at 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right. So they're disappointed. They already understand they have a short time and things are in a certain way to where they're not able to bring it perfectively, right? Perfect. It's going to be sloppy, as she was saying. All right. It's not going to be exactly how they wanted to perform it, but the show still must go on. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. This the point they meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. And let's get that word, grope. Yeah. So they grope. It says to reach, to feel for. You know, when you in a dark room and you trying to reach for something, you see? Trying to feel for like where you at to like get a grip. To where you don't bump for nothing. It's like hope. Like you're trying so hard, you're searching. It says they're doing that basically, spiritually, in the noonday. And you know, the noonday is the point when the sun is at its highest. All right? So they struggling. They struggling and scrambling. In the noonday. All right? And the pinnacle of their wickedness. So this thing is going to completely be, you know, sloppy, and the New World Order is going to be exactly how she said it already is, you know, going into it or trying to establish it. But the dang point is, man, like we hear it and it's going to be exactly how she seen it or how she said it. And this is nothing more than, well, you know, the Lord has been telling people, man, all right, through his men. So I'm going to end it here. Isaiah 44:26, that confirmeth the word of his servant, right, and performeth the counsel of his messengers. See that? I'm actually started 25. It says that frustrated the tokens of the liars. All right. And make it diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward and make it their knowledge foolish, that confirmeth the word of his servant and performeth the counsel of his messenger. All right. So the Lord is frustrating these people, their signs and their tokens. They're trying to get this thing rolling. They're admitting it in front of people now. They confessing it. And it's happening. All right. They gotta admit it. They gotta go and try it. Everyone's seeing them. So how do you think this is really gonna look? So take heed, man, and perform at the counsel of his messengers. All right, that's talking about the apostles, the prophets. All right. Starting with the men of the Great Millstone Church. All right, the elders on down, the apostles on down. I've been telling you, man. All right, the elder apostles on down, I've been telling you. It says that said to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah, ye shall be built. Right, and I will raise up the decayed places thereof. Yeah, that's telling you this place gonna go down. These Edomites gonna go down, but that's the start of us ruling. All right, the so-called blacks, Negroes, Native American Indians, so-called Latinos, based upon their father's lineage, predominantly. though the Israelites are scattered throughout the earth. And I found them as a bunch of races, all right, so-called. But nonetheless, man, that's the point. The Lord said in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, believe the word, all right? Talking about his children. All right, believe the word which the Heavenly Father hath spoken, okay? Make yourself ready to the battle. This is it. You're hearing about it. We here, man. So, because this device tripping, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. You know, you can read that in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. I'm going to say all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahshua.